WZR questions. Send your questions over. Chris will get them, and then we'll read them off.
I got about 25 questions, dude, and they're all, I mean, like, literally, I think all but one are the exact same question.
Oh yeah.
Like, seriously, like, all of them are like the exact same question.
We'll get to them, man. We'll run it through. But once again, guys, if you want to, submit questions, either do it in the live chat room at WZROnline.com/chat or do it over AIM at WZR questions, and then we'll be able to get to you. All right, main event of Monday Night Raw. We had John Cena took on CM Punk. The choices in this one were Rey Mysterio, Jack Swagger, or CM Punk, and we chose Punk, I guess, or they chose Punk.
Yeah.
They fought to a no contest. Basically, the deal here is Cena went for the five-knuckle shuffle and got distracted when Wade Barrett came out on the out to ringside, and basically he came down to the ring, and the NXT rookies then jumped over they must have been planted in the audience, or they came out right before the main event. They jumped over the barricade and basically beat the shit out of everybody at ringside, John Cena as well. I think Justin Gabriel hit the 450 splash on Cena to end Raw. We posted, if you missed it, I had a video up. They may have taken it down by now because WWE is real anal with the copyright things on YouTube. But I had a YouTube video up that I put up on the website, so if you missed the Raw ending, you can go and catch it. Somebody in the chat room says they took it down. Yeah, I figured they would. They usually they last. Once I put them on the website, they last for like an hour or two, sometimes longer, but usually not longer than about an hour. So I guess they took it down. But what an awesome angle from top to bottom.
I mean, I didn't expect it, dude. I thought it was just going to be another disappointing Raw, but like we were saying earlier, dude, this made the night. I mean, it's fucking awesome. It reminded me of the WCW invasion, dude, and I think that's where it could be going.
I mean, they tore up the entire ringside. They beat up Justin Roberts was there.
With his tie.
With his tie, right? Michael Cole
nice.
hit the high road. He fucking Cole jetted out of there, man. He was going in a heartbeat once that started happening.
My gosh.
And they left you with a feeling of, what's going to happen next week. You know what I mean? And that's what you want, man. You want people to be able to tune back in on a way. You know what I mean? And they drew a decent rating. I mean, they had a 3.3 last night. It was a 3.1 for all 3 hours, but she had a 3.3, which is very, very.
Yeah. Well, the 3.1, that's like amazing for 3 hours for them.
For 3 hours,
yeah.
And I'd love to know what that. I don't have it just yet, but I'd love to know what that first hour rating was for Monday Night Raw. Hopefully, when we go off the air, I'll put it up on the websites. But I know the 2 hours, the 9 to 11 o'clock, gets you a 3.3 rating in there. So that is good news because that's obviously up from previous weeks. I mean, they were down to about a 3.1. I know Memorial Day was last week, so. And they didn't take much of a hit last week with Memorial Day, which kind of surprised me.
Yeah, not at all. I was really shocked too, dude.
Hey, let me, for you guys in the live chat room, for those of you, for those of you not in the live chat room that want to get SmackDown spoilers for tonight, you can go to www.prowrestlingscoops.com. Once again, www.prowrestlingscoops.com. It is the top post on the main news board over there. So prowrestlingscoops.com to get live SmackDown spoiler coverage. The full NXT results are already up, and SmackDown is ongoing. For those of you in the chat room, here is the link to spoiler coverage. I'll give you that. Fucking booted me again. God damn it, dude. Oh, there it is. Anyways, for those of you in the chat, that's your link. Live SmackDown and NXT spoilers in progress. For those of you not in the chat, prowrestlingscoops.com, and it's the top post. So,
can I ask you a question, bro? This is what everybody keeps sending me. Can I bring it up?
Do it.
Could NXT be the ones who took out The Undertaker? Everybody's asking that question.
I think the NXT storyline, I think that was a last minute decision, and here's why. Over the past few weeks on NXT, these guys, every one of them, haven't been treated like anybody they've been treated like a complete joke. I mean, they do these segments where they're out in the crowd and they're trying to sell fucking programs, NXT programs or SmackDown programs, and then you had obstacle courses, and you had all this crazy shit that they've been doing, and they didn't make any of them look like a main eventer, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And then to bring them all out, and not only that, but they were eliminating these guys, okay? So basically, they would eliminate them, but they would show up the following. They were never eliminated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is weird, isn't it?
Continue to be there, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere last night, honestly, I think it's a way. When's Survivor Series?
November.
That's not until November, huh?
Survivor Series is in November. Yep.
November. Well, think about this. How long is NXT? I think they're going to do a big NXT war, okay, where it's going to be NXT Season 1 versus NXT Season 2, and this is all a big deal. They did the angle on Raw, obviously, because Raw draws numbers, Raw gets viewership, and it's a way to promote NXT, and they're coming off a huge rating for NXT last week. What was it, like a 1.3?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy, okay? So you're coming off a great rating from last week's season finale. Okay, tonight is your season 2 debut. So you're creating, basically you want the people that tuned in last week, you want them to tune in to NXT again tonight. You know what I mean? And I think it was just I think it's going to come down to, it's just going to be NXT versus NXT.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You want to know what I'm kind of thinking about this whole thing? I mean, I started thinking about this earlier. You know how McMahon came out last week?
Right.
I'm thinking maybe you might see Vince McMahon, have these NXT guys, trying to make shit hard for Bret Hart. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, it could happen. You don't know, because he kind of came out and said, good luck, being all sarcastic. And
you know what? Here's the thing about this. You see how we're talking about this right now? You see how we talked about all of Monday Night Raw, and we went segment by segment, and we said, this sucked, this sucked, this sucked, this was a train wreck, this is horrible, blah, 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 blah. You get to the main event, okay, and now we're talking, what could it be, right?
Exactly. There's so many different angles that could happen.
Where are they going to go with this angle? This is what you need in pro wrestling, okay? This is what you need. You need to leave people with cliffhangers. You need to do long-term storylines, and don't switch shit up. Just get an angle, okay? Get an angle. Get like a 3-month angle or a 2-month angle. Set it out in stone what you're going to do week by week by week by week. Leave people with cliffhangers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what made them so successful, though, in, the late 90s, early 2000s, was they ran out storylines, and left it at suspense, Yeah, it's just... And you just don't see shit like that no more.
No, suspense is great. I mean, to get people talking, like, oh my god, what are these NXT guys going to do next week? What's going to happen next week? That's what you need. That brings people coming back, and it makes for a much better product. You know what I mean? Sure. Where you get people interested in the product, and you get people thinking, what could it be?
Yeah, for sure. And the thing with this angle, though, is it might not be just 1 or 2 different things. Usually it could be like, well, it's either going to be this or this. There's about 5 or 6, 7 possibilities what could happen with it.
They could go, exactly. They could go so many different routes, and that's what makes it interesting. And nobody knows where it's going to go. And they didn't do much on NXT tonight with the angle. I'm sure that they'll do a video package, or they'll show highlights and things like that. They'll do stuff like that. But, by the way, live SmackDown spoilers. Here you guys go in the chat room. Fucking A, man. Me again. God damn it. Well, anyways, there it is in the chat room. Live SmackDown spoiler coverage ongoing right now over at ProWrestlingScoops.com, guys. It's the top post right now. So, guys in the chat room, you guys can click that link. And guys that are not in the chat, ProWrestlingScoops.com. WZROnline.com/chat live chat room ongoing right now. I guess we're done with Monday Night Raw, right?
Yeah, we're done. Finally.
No doubt. Let's open it up, man. We're going to open the phone lines right now. We're going to open the AIM messages right now. We'll open the chat room for live questions, and then we'll talk news, rumors, a bunch of other bullshit. We got